right, lads, welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Manny. I was a proud Brit who traded my tea and crumpets for freedom and firearms here in the United States. And let me tell you, for someone who didn't grow up around firearms and didn't have the right to bear arms, I have a lot to say about the Second Amendment right here. And here's why I believe everyone should seriously consider buying a firearm if they have not already. So obviously living in the UK, obviously no guns, right? Growing up, watching all the American movies, seeing all the guns, it looks super cool. That's, the majority of what you see, from me watching, action movies to John Wayne movies. And, that I definitely saw guns over there. There was a lot of illegal guns, a lot of criminals who, surprisingly don't care about the law, just like here. In countries even where guns are illegal and they don't have, there's no place like the US, right, which has a constitution, has the Second Amendment. But these criminals, they still manage to have guns, and there's a lot of gun crime, and there's no way to defend yourself. So, like I said, there's no country which has the Second Amendment, and we have that right. Even that in the US, there is different restrictions in different states. In all 50 states, you can own a firearm, whether that be in the strictest states like New York, or the loosest states like, the freest states, if you will, like Idaho. You all have the ability to protect yourself, right? And there's so many people which I don't get. So for me, coming from the UK, who's didn't have the Second Amendment, to move in here the right way, which took years, and seeing how like people like are against the Second Amendment, and like it's almost like they want tyranny. They don't do their research and history, and they think like, oh yeah, guns are bad. If we take all the guns away, all the crime will go. But seeing it from stats from different states, for example, how, for example, some of the highest murder rates in the US are in the states with the most restrictive gun laws. For, around the world, how like, there's shootings which happen in all these countries and cities, and there's no, there's meant to be no guns there, but all of a sudden there's shootings, right? So it's crazy how people, especially here when I have conversations with people, because I'm so pro 2A, because, I do my research, and I research history. And it's crazy how people like try and give me arguments why guns are bad and how we should get rid of them. And they just don't understand that, if we just get rid of guns, they don't understand about tyrannical governments, of why the Second Amendment was created by the founding forefathers. They don't understand that we have a First Amendment, and the only reason that's still protected is because we have the Second Amendment. Foreign and domestic. People forget that. This is stuff that which I'm so surprised that isn't taught in school enough. Because I learned this stuff when I was in England, right? And then I, obviously before moving here, I had such a passion. I was like, oh, if I ever move to America, I'm gonna, buy firearms. I'm gonna learn about firearms. I'm gonna take classes. I'm gonna learn about safety, because it's not just I'm telling you to go buy a gun. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you want to learn that everything. You want to learn about the safety aspect. Why, the storage part of it, how to use it correctly, in what situation. It's more of a thing like, the only way to stop a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun, right? And that people just forget that. They forget that, and there's no country like the US which allows this, right? There's no country which has a constitution, which has a First Amendment, guys. Like, there's so many countries who don't even have freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech, but everything is protected by the Second Amendment, and that's what a lot of people forget. So, obviously we have law enforcement, we have all these agencies and people who are here to help us, right? Unfortunately, though, people need to be realistic. There's not enough law enforcement officers for the amount of people in any state, right? So, God forbid if something, an intruder came into your home with a firearm and was trying to harm you and your family, and you could have legally possessed a firearm if you're a law-abiding citizen. Could have legally possessed a firearm to protect you and your family. And if they, were maybe, on a certain substance and didn't care who they hurt and they had a gun or a weapon, and you could have legally possessed a firearm and you didn't, and someone got hurt, whose fault is that at the end of the day? You have the right to buy a firearm and protect your family. You have the right to the Second Amendment, and you're choosing not to. The law enforcement aren't going to get there that fast, They have a lot of calls going on, they're eventually there to help, but time is of the essence. You are your own protector. You are your family's protector. This shouldn't be a thing that you're afraid of. Like, there's so many great instructors out here. There's so many great gun ranges throughout this country. And like even just YouTube and, other platforms where you can learn. You don't have to you don't have to spend so much money on a class. You can literally learn everything online. And it's how are you letting the British guy buy a firearm and teaching you this? This shouldn't even be happening, right? But coming from an outside perspective, I just don't understand why it's not taught in schools. I don't understand why you don't have one yet. It's crazy. Like this should be part of your everyday. Every day, you don't leave the house without it, because stuff can happen inside your house. It can happen outside the house. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad people out there, and you need to be prepared. And there's too many people, I speak to personally too many people who are just not prepared. They're asking me questions, and I've only been here a few years, right? And all this is available, whether it be online or, you're following, there's amazing, gun influencers and give you all this great information. And I follow so many of them. I've learned so much just from online and then in person too. But the information is there. And at the end of the day, guys, the Second Amendment is so much more than just guns, right? It's about the freedom, it's about the independence, and the idea that you can take care of your family, right? There's nowhere in the world which allows that. We are so lucky to have that right. Moving to America's opened my eyes, the importance of the right, and I'm proud to stand here as today as a British American supporter of the Second Amendment, and that'll never change. And I'll never keep pushing that, how important it is and how lucky you are. And if you're watching this now, I want to, really, buy my first firearm and learn. That's great. Like, if you're starting now, even if you're older, you get a little bit older and I've never been into guns. My family was never really taught me about guns. It's fine. It's never too late to start and, learn. And I'm still learning too. But if you haven't, we are so lucky. And, me moving here, seeing the differences, it's crazy. The perspective is different. And everyone I know who's moved from England thinks exactly the same way. They're patriotic. I am. I love being here. And I love the Constitution. And that is how we should all be, Well, of course, we're going to have differences on certain stuff, whether it be politics, whether it be certain laws. But the Constitution is written for a reason. And the Second Amendment protects all the other amendments. And you guys cannot forget that. And too many people have forgotten that or haven't been taught that. So yeah, guys, I'm excited with this channel. I'm excited to, show you the videos we're going to be creating, whether it be tips on everyday carries, on accessories, whether it be tactics, or just talking certain topics when it comes to the Second Amendment. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. let me know in the comments how you like the video, what you want to see. If you've got any questions about any certain firearms, let me know, fire away. Make sure you follow me on all the platforms linked below. And yeah, guys, I'm excited for the next video. We've got some fun stuff coming this year. And yeah, you're going to be getting some gun talk from the British guy. So yeah, I will see you in the next video. And like I said, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you very soon.